Yes, the St. Clair High School bonfire application is in your packet. They plan to have the bonfire, I believe it's on October 5th. And this is in conjunction with homecoming week. And so they are looking for approval for their bonfire.
Make a motion that we approve the bonfire for homecoming week.
This motion, I have concerns with the dry weather that we have. Everything's a tinderbox out there, and we really need a fire that could get out of control.
Does the fire department usually own their weather?
We have the former fire chief.
In the past,
Yes.
and I would venture to say that they would probably, they have not stopped that, so they should be there.
Make a motion to approve the bonfire request for the high school homecoming week. I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Beelen,
Nay.
Alderman Sykes,
Aye.
Alderman Salem.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have the Franklin County Municipal League Dinner / meeting will be held on October 19th, 2022 in Union.
This is just a reminder.
Attorney Bloss.
Nothing, Mayor.
Administrator Stolberg.
Okay. My report. We have, excuse me, we have 3 open positions. Administrative assistant and admin, and we've begun interviews, and we'll be looking to fill this as soon as possible, as soon as the right person is found. We did 4 interviews this afternoon, as a matter of fact, and I just got another application a couple of hours ago, so we'll be looking at more. The building assistant, we do need to fill this, and as soon as possible. We've talked about different routes. I think the best route to take right now is to go with a full-time administrative assistant in the building department. And then we can look at any other options for other things in the future. But for right now, we need to get somebody in there so that we can keep the building department running the way it is. Because right now it's running right, and we need to keep it that way. And then parks, we have 2 part-time parks persons, and their time with the city will be short. Excuse me. I know that one has said that he does not want to plow snow, and the other is pretty much on his coattails, so whenever he leaves, the other will leave. And so we need to get that filled as soon as possible. I know that I've discussed this in the past, that I wanted somebody who's more of a supervisor, superintendent, but right now we need someone, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a supervisor, superintendent kind of person. With that in mind, we do have someone a city employee who has expressed an interest, and I'd like to go ahead and see if we can talk to that person to see if they would be a good fit. So I'll probably bring that to the next board meeting. And then we are in the middle of budget preparations. The departments will get their proposals to me next week. And then I'll take some time to go over their proposals with them individually, kind of talk it out, feel them out, and figure out what all they need and what all they may not need. And then once that's done, we'll need to we probably need to schedule it during that time frame. Some budget workshops. I'd like to have the first budget workshop sometime around the end of October or beginning of November, and then the second one either the first or second week of November. so that we can get everything finalized and ready to go by the first meeting in December, if at all possible. So I'll be reaching out to all of you to try and schedule some budget workshops probably sometime next week.
I have a question about the building department assistant. So it's kind of my impression that when we had a part-time assistant, it seemed to be running fairly smooth. And with the budget where it stands, can you give me why you feel like having a full-time assistant is worth or is needed when we already are in such a budget deficit?
Well, with the previous one, Dana actually did most of the training for the previous one part-time. We need somebody that's going to be there all the time, because Craig is going to be going out and doing inspections. This person will not be doing any inspections or anything like that, and they'll be running the building department. I say running. They'll be working in the building department at all times throughout the day. Whenever we had a part-time assistant, there were times when Craig had to do an inspection and that person, the other person, wasn't there, and we had people coming up to submit building or request building permits and submit plans and things of that nature, and nobody was there to assist. And so we really should have someone there 5 days a week and throughout the whole work day. And that's why I think it's important that we have a full-time assistant instead of a part-time.
You mentioned earlier that someone wants to move within this city. Will the vacancy he's leaving be harder to fill than the Parks Department?
I don't think so, but that would be something that I would discuss with the department head to kind of get their feel for it.
Is this person just a laborer in the water and sewer, correct? Or is it street?
I believe he's in water and sewer. And that's all I have.
Jason?
Just one thing. We touched a little earlier on, the deficit that Don talked about in water and sewer. So included with my packet was some info regarding water and sewer rate increases. I think that's something that the board's going to have to address. I kind of proposed a couple of different things in there, a couple different options that I sent to you guys. The city of Washington does they raise their rates based on the CPI in October of each year, I think is kind of what I found in their ordinance. The city of Pacific did in 2019, they did an 8% increase in their base rate and a 5% increase in their per 1,000 gallon rate each year. They set that for 5 years, so they'll review that again, I guess, in 2023. So it's just something that I wanted to give you guys some information. Maybe at the next board meeting, we can come back, and if we want to do nothing, that's your decision. If we want to do something, maybe you guys can have a percent increase or an idea in your heads that we can talk about, and then we can get it to an ordinance form for the first meeting in November. So that those rates would take effect in January 1, 2023. So if you guys need any info along the way, just let me know. I'd be happy to do whatever you need. Our parts have kind of gone, like Don hit on a little bit. Our parts, there was a part list in there in 2016 to 2022. Our parts have increased about 70% in what we use. That's kind of the average between the 15 or 20, 25 parts I have on the list. That stuff we use all the time. Repair bands, couplings, elbows, meters, setters, pit springs, lids, stuff like that. We use that stuff all the time. So just wanted to put it out there so we can address it. If you guys need anything, just let me know. I'm happy to help.
Thank you, Bruce. Chief?
Nothing at this time.
Craig?
Nothing at this time.
Alderman Veland?
I just learned tonight that there will be a planning and zoning meeting next Monday.
Yes.
That's all I have.
Other business? Do any of the board members have anything they wish to address?
I was wondering, I didn't see any feedback from the RFP that you had mentioned that was prepared for the banner program. Have we gotten any response from that?
We haven't yet, no.
Okay. Did we set a deadline for that? Do we have a date when that closes? When was it
I
posted?
believe I set it for this week, but I'd have to check the RFP. I changed the dates on it because I sent it out a couple of days later.
Anyone else? Does anyone in the public wish to address the board? Our next scheduled meeting is Monday, October 17th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Anything else? We can take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Maybe, yeah, 5 years ago.